Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Morinville Community Library's Creative Program. My name is Shelley and I'm one of the adult programmers here, and this month we are going to be working on a couple of different projects, kind of doing a bit of a carryover from Earth Day and thinking reduce, recycle, reuse things that we have around our place, or making something out of almost nothing, like stuff that we already have around the house. So a couple of things we're going to be doing. The very first thing we're going to be doing is we are going to take a napkin and we are going to do some decoupaging and treatment with it. And we are going to create some rice paper. So this actually is from this napkin. It's quite strong now. There's quite a bit you could do with it. And I made it into a book cover. So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing. And the other project that we're going to be doing is something that's called Smash Can. So we're going to be taking just a regular can and we are going to be creating these adorable little kind of spring decorations. So for the first project, what we're going to do is I've put in your kit a couple of different napkins because we're going to be decoupaging a couple of different things. So you can choose which one you want to have to decorate onto your can and which one you want to make the rice paper out of. So I've got this one here ready to go. You're going to get some glue. You're going to need to water that glue down a bit. If you happen to have a bowl or something that you can put it into, and then just put a small bit of water in to just loosen it up a little bit. You don't want it too loose and watery, but you don't want it too thick that it's going to tear the tissue paper. So the other thing you're going to want is some scissors, and that's pretty much it. So we're going to go ahead. So often when you're buying napkins, they say they're 2-ply, 3-ply, or 4-ply. We're going to see what this one here is. Now I find if I just like dampen my fingers a little bit, I've got a wet paper towel here, and just take it to the corners here, things will start to separate. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that I'm doing another cover for this book here that I had covered. So it was actually a student planner that I had picked up. Bring this up a bit. And that's what this book is on the inside here, is a student planner. But I found when I took off that other piece, it had just some nice plain brown underneath there. So I was able to do it up nicer with this different tissue paper. So what I'm going to do is I am going to see that it's going to fit on this whole thing. And then there's a bit extra. So I am going to choose to trim this right now. Now everybody has a different piece of this kind of waxy paper, and what this waxy paper is actually cereal box liners. So thank you to everybody that donated cereal box liners to the library for this project. Really greatly appreciate it. There we go. So we've got that down. I didn't bring a marker with me, but the next thing you want to do is you kind of want to mark where your napkin is, because we need to put a layer of this glue down first onto the wax paper to create kind of that layer that the tissue paper is going to adhere onto. So that's kind of going to create a bit of that plasticky feel that you're going to have that's going to add strength to the tissue. So you're going to take your glue, doesn't really matter where you start, you just want it to get a good bunch of it on here, and just use those marks that you made as a guide. I'm just going to slather it on here. There we go. Now it doesn't matter if it's starting to kind of like separate away or anything like that, because we're going to be adding more to it. So now you can go ahead and press this on, and you might want to go to where the folds were kind of to begin with, and just gently tap this on to the paper there. And if you want to make it really unique and that give it some crinkles, you could have either like scrunched up the tissue paper ahead of time, or as we're adding the next layer of glue, you can kind of create some of those crinkles onto the paper there. So that's the beginning of it. Now we're going to go ahead, and I would suggest starting from the middle and work your way out to either the left or the right, and just gently add on a good amount of glue. Again, you don't want to go overboard with the glue, because if you do, it's going to take forever to dry. So just keep going until you've got both sides completely adhered. Again, be gentle not to tear your tissue. It's going to move. Okay, and that's everything there with that one. So we've got this on here. It's going to have to dry for about 24 hours. So again, the more glue you put on it, certainly the longer it's going to take to dry, but it is going to be very cool. One other thing that I'll mention here as well is when it comes to pulling this off of the paper, you want to have a little bit of a ridge to work with when you're peeling it off. So what you can do is just take your brush, it's already got some glue on, it's damp, your sides are all damp, and you're just going to push the sides in just the smallest amount. And that's also going to create some more interest to your napkin, to your piece of work here. Looks really good. So that's going to be it for the full rice paper. We're going to let that dry. And when it does, it's going to become kind of this plasticized, strong tissue paper that you can do like all sorts of things with. So we'll come back to that after. Hey everybody, so we're back for the second project that we're working on here, and we're working with the decoupage technique. So I did give you some information on decoupaging in your kit as well. So if you want to take a browse through that, I mean, the ideas are endless as to what you can do with it and have fun with it. So the next thing that we're going to go on to is it's called Smash Can. So you're literally taking a tin can that you already have in your house, and we are going to decorate that up. So let's take a look at what we've got here. All right, so we've got a can, we've got another different napkin, we've got our glue that's been watered down a bit, we've got some scissors that are here. We obviously have our paintbrush. There's going to be some moss, some flowers. There's going to be some ribbon and some accessories that I've added to your kits. So what we're going to do is you're going to need a glue gun for this one for sure. So make sure you got a glue gun already plugged in. You've got yourself some extra glue sticks so you don't have to stop. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this can and we're going to put it on the ground. And it doesn't matter. Some of them, it looks like this one has a bit of a seam here. I'm going to put that to the back if I can. And it's pretty tough to, well, you can, squeeze it with your hand and that. But one end you want to get completely flat. So I'm just going to put this down on the floor, and I'm going to use my foot to crush it, and I will bring it right back up. So as it turns out, my can bent on the front instead of where the seam is, but that's okay because we're going to be covering this up. So the next thing you can do is if you have some paints and you felt you needed to add some color to it, you can certainly go ahead right away and you can paint it. And I would suggest starting with just a light amount of paint that creates a primer on it, and then go ahead and just add some more paint to it. So, but I am not going to, because I'm going to use this lovely napkin. So it looks like it's pretty much going to fit on this lower half. So I am going to cut this first, and then we'll do the separating of the tissue paper. So that'll be a beautiful one. I mean, we could do like the rice paper effect with these and make some bookmarks. Would be amazing. So I've got my wet towel here, so I'm just wetting my fingers a little bit to try and pull this apart. And again, if you have some Scotch tape and you adhere that to one end, that works well also. I usually have pretty good luck with my fingers, so let's see where we can get this to come apart. I see this one here. And again, not sure how many layers this one is supposed to be. I don't have the full package right here, so let's just see if by chance there is one more layer on there. Let's see here. I don't, oh, maybe, nope, I don't think so. So that's great. You know, and even if there was another layer on there, it's just going to add, you know, like as if I put white paint onto the can here. And so that's neither here nor there. All right, so the next thing you're going to want to do is we are going to take the Mod Podge glue that we have, and I want to sort of center this picture. Turn it around for you. I want to kind of center this picture on what I want for sure to be my front and that. So it looks like I'm pretty much right at the edge, and it'll be ending again at that one edge. So I am going to start there with the glue. And if you want, you can like just start off with just some of it. Okay, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to go ahead and do the back of it now. Don't worry about getting glue on it because we're going to cover the whole thing with glue again as well. There we go. So this has got a little bit of a dent into it. So we're going to be shaping to what the can is. So just gently pop it onto there. Okay, now I see where my edge is. I'm going to go ahead and trim that. There's no mistakes with this. This is all about just letting it roll the way it rolls. The next thing we can do here is we can start adding the decoupage again as well. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit inside the can there, so to speak. And that, I mean, I didn't mean for there to be a bit of a space there, but it's an opportunity to just stuff it with this here tissue paper. There you go, lots of glue is gonna help keep it kind of in place. And that, and then we've got the other end here, so be careful moving this around. You don't want to tear the tissue paper. Going to add a bit of glue to the inside there. Again, you got to be very careful with this tissue in your hands, and that because it's going to want to tear. So that's the back side. This is what I want my front side to be. Okay, so we are back. So just to share with you, when I was blow drying this, I found I could kind of like sneak my hand right inside of it, and I was able to kind of go back and forth with it to dry with the hair dryer. It's still a little bit tacky, but that's okay because we're going to be adding stuff to it and we want it to adhere to the can. So we just want it to be dry enough that we're not touching it and it's tearing the paper, not that we can't disguise it with some of the other things that we're going to be adding to this. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to get my glue gun reheated here because I needed that plug and gather some of my stuff. So there should be some moss in your kit. There's going to be some different ribbons and accessories. I think I'm going to go, I don't know if I want the bright yellow or the lighter yellow. I think I might stick with the lighter yellow. And this is an off-white, this one's more white. I'm going to try and put your kits together with things that look like they would go together. But again, if you have things around the house that you would like to add to it to make it that much more special to you or to the person you're gifting it to, that would be great. So I am going to just consider what that's going to look like going into there. So I'm just going to make sure, and I'm going to flatten this just a little bit more. So be careful with your paper. You don't want it to squish there. And see if my hot gun's ready. Yes. Just make sure you got lots of glue. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop that, about 1/2 inch in there because we're going to add some moss to the top here as well. So we want it to have kind of somewhere to sit down inside of there. And this will be for putting the flowers into it. I think the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to cut a piece of this ribbon. You guys will have stuff already pre-cut for you and ready to go. And again, a little bit of hot glue, a little bit in the front right there to start. Make that the center, something on the side here. Add it here and here. There we go. That should join perfectly around. And I think the next thing I'm going to do is add this lighter ribbon. Go. That guy is on there. Awesome. There we go. I think the next thing I'm going to do is a flower. So there might be some burlap type flowers. There might be something else that's quite a bit brighter. Let me see, because there's peaches and pinks that are in this one. I think I might go for this pink. So I've got a bunch of yellows that are going to come into being in the top. So I'm just going to take the end off here, make it a little shorter. There we go. I am going to put that guy over here. You can put it anywhere you want. This is yours. This is your craft. You put it wherever you want. If you happen to have buttons around as well, you could always have created like a center with a button or a button down here or something like that. And I've got a yellow button here in with my race paper. There's just so many different things. Just make sure that that flower is going to stay on there. Now I didn't bring any with me, but a trick before you cut that, if you like, you can put some Scotch tape on it and then cut in the middle of the Scotch tape. And that's going to allow you not to have an end that's going to want to fall apart on you. So that's just another tip. Go ahead and add a little glue to the center there. Find the center of this. I don't really like that piece in there. That's the center there. And I added some critters also to your kits. So I really like these butterflies. I'm just not too sure where I want to put it. Maybe right there. Just a little bit lower. That one there. And I want to add a ladybug. I really liked them on the other stuff. So I'm going to put it on this leaf right there. Now they do have stickies, but they're not very good stickies. So I'm going to place that guy right there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of moss that we've got and we're going to add some glue, a whole bunch of glue for it to go in here. So I've kind of tried to spread it out a bit. And if you want, you can even try gluing it to that side, that front side there as well. And that you want to see a bit of it kind of, hanging out and that. So I'm going to put some glue up there so that it just adds to the effect. So, and this is where you do something called like layering. So I'm just going to go there This one's got a bit of a curl, so we'll let it go over here. You want to make sure you've got some of the wiring to be able to stick it in. I'll go more into the back, this greenery here. I might actually just add some glue, hot glue it, and stick it in the back there. A little bit difficult going into the moss here. So I'm going to add one more. There we go. So it might be easier to put the flowers in first and then the moss is what I'm seeing. Got a little piece of some greenery I'm going to put at the front. Just going to glue that in there. There's some other green guys that are with this. Let's see. Again, you don't want to add too much. You don't want it to be completely naked either. I think that's where I'm going to leave that. I will be giving you some possible wire or jute to create your handle. I'm hoping to get the holes for your handles put into the tins ahead of time, just waiting for the tool. And I'm just going to hot glue this one in for now because I don't have the holes made yet. Put that one there. And so a really great little gift that you can give somebody that, you know, might be in a senior's home or something with Seniors Week going on right now. What a terrific gift to share with them and brighten their day, or something that you can do for yourself. Like I said, take a look around the house and personalize it to your desire. So I'm going to put that one over here, and I'll just show you again how the B one turned out. You happen to have a kit that has some of the bumblebees in it. That's going to be really sharp as well. So that is the smash cans. So I'm just going to go back here really quickly to our first project, and that was the rice paper. So we still have this drying. This is going to take 24 hours to dry. I also took the shorter piece, that piece that I cut off, and put it here. And I'll show you what I did with the ones that I had dried already. And you can use parchment paper as well, but this is such a thick wax paper. It's so good to work with. So let's just bring this back here again. So just reminding you that this is what I had bought at Dollar Tree. It's just like a student agenda book. And I decided I'm going to make it personable. And so I took what was that first sheet that we created and made the rice paper with it. So this is a scrap piece of that. So one side's a little bit shinier, the other side's a little duller. You can decide which way you want to put it. If you're into junk journaling or different things like that, or you want to personalize an envelope, again, that's another thing that you can do. I also took from this other scrap piece, and I won't be able to get it off, unfortunately, but I made this little pocket that is on my booklet, and I put a little message inside. So I actually sewed it on my sewing machine, created a little pocket, and then I glued it onto the book with a little button, and then I put a little message inside of it, a little positive message, and that for myself. And I can see some of that coming through when it is inside the pocket. So if you wanted to do something like that, again, make it a little more special, you can do that. I mean, you can make regular envelopes out of this stuff as well, to personalize, like for a birthday or something like that. And then with this one, I just added actually a glue stick and just, you know, folded it over and got it into the inside of the book there. So that is everything that I have for here. And just want to say thank you, a shout out to a couple of people, and that is Valerie Loth for donating all these beautiful artificial flowers to this project. And I want to have a shout out to the community. You guys were great. I had put out a request for cereal box liners and for the cans, and you came through, and I love you. So thank you for making this a success. Just want to show you one other thing when we're talking about the rice paper and things that you can do with it. I was pressing flowers last year, and I took what was the tissue that we first pulled off, and I did the same concept with it as I glued it. But I also tea dyed it or coffee dyed it, and that's just putting a tea bag or some coffee and water, putting the tissue paper in to soak it, or brushing it on. You can put it into the glue and just brush it on. And then you can also put like fresh flowers on it. And then I use the second layer of the tissue to seal the flowers in. So I mean that's the beauty of glue and tissue paper, is you can do layers with it as well. So this became a little bit of a lantern or a tea light. So again, there's so many things that you can do. I hope you had a great time. Next month we'll be working on a spice. Every second month is a spice here at the library to kind of broaden your horizons. And this is your craft. Thank you so much. I will be seeing you back in September as we're going to take a break through the summer break, and hope you have a great summer. Thank you.